Hello, hello. Welcome to Connecting the Thoughts. I am Rukaya Khan. Let me forget myself who I am. Interesting, isn't it? That's because I am super excited. I have connected with somebody today who I was following her work for more than 10 years now. And for me to have her on my show is really, really a big deal for me. And I'm really excited, as you can see. Her name is Vasavi Kumar, and she is often described as the queen of saying it out loud, a first generation immigrant raised on Long Island, New York. She has searched to find her voice, and as a person that she is, she's always helped others find theirs out loud. Now, without further ado, I bring to you Vasavi Kumar. There she is.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I am good. How are you? And thank you for saying yes.
Of course, that's what we do. We say yes to things that are in alignment with us. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Vasavi, before we even get into the conversation, let's let the people know about your book
Mhm.
and when it's coming out, what it's a little bit about. Just sharing a little bit about that, please.
Absolutely. So the book comes out May 16th. You can order it everywhere, Amazon, Target, Barnes and Nobles. If you go to sayitoutloudbook.com, you can pre-order it and then also grab your bonuses and your virtual ticket to my book club in June. Um, but to my book, Say It Out Loud, is a book that teaches you how to talk to yourself, Rukia, because the thing is we talk to ourselves all the time without really
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to what we're saying. Most of what we tell ourselves is negative, unhelpful, counterproductive, and straight up abusive. So you can think of Say It Out Loud as an alternative guide to journaling, because instead of writing your responses to journal prompts, you're responding out loud to the verbal prompts that I've given you
Yep.
at the beginning of every chapter and at the end of every chapter. So I'm very excited for people to start opening up their throat and speaking more.
Hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
Um, so when I introduce myself to people, I say, "Hi, I'm Rukaya Khan, and I'm the Smile Strategist."
Yeah.
And that's because I've come up with a 5-step formula. And the very first step in the Smile is silence your mind.
Mm.
And it's interesting because you say it out loud, and I'm saying silence your mind, and it's actually the same, one and the same. It's an alignment because when I say silence your mind, it's all about the thoughts that come in your mind that are
Mm.
holding you back. Believe it or not, my biggest limiting belief in life was that nobody listens to me.
Mm-hmm. Same. Same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think what you're coming up with say it out loud connects so strongly with me, because it's so important to say the things that are dying to be said, and we still hold it back and hold on to it because we feel like it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Writing this book, what prompted you to do that?
Well, how did it start? You mean you want to know like how this
Mhm.
concept even came about? Well,
Yes.
when I was younger, I played the role of therapist to my parents. It's the reason why I even became a therapist. I would try to mediate my parents when they were fighting from a very young age. Actually, what it was my mother was very vocal. She still is. I mean, she has a mouth on her. My mother is not a submissive Indian woman at all. She, farthest from submissive at all. She says it out loud. My father did not speak up as much, but as a kid, I often found myself in between both of them, mediating them.
Hmm.
And I would say to my mother, okay, you say out loud how you feel, to my dad. And I would say to my dad, okay, you listen to her. And then I would say to my dad, okay, you say out loud how you feel, to mom. And then I would say to my mom, listen to him. Because even at that young age, I knew that anything could be resolved if we just listened to each other, if we just said out loud how we feel. Now, what you said about silencing the mind and me saying it out loud, I really want people to be in alignment and congruence with what they're saying, what they're thinking, and what they're feeling. And the only way you can really do that is when you have a quiet mind. Because when you have a mind that is just filled with voices and chatter, you're not really grounded in the truth of who you are, or grounded in that voice that is truly yours, authentically yours. So we need to learn how to talk to the voices in our head and quiet the thoughts in our mind so that we can finally get rooted into and hear what I like to say, the voice of God, your voice of intuition, your true self, your higher self. And that's when we start to tap into that part of ourselves. That's when we really start to speak in a way that is in alignment with who we are and what we say we want.
Hmm. And I like what you say about being true to yourself, because
Mhm.
that's so, so important. When you're hushing those little questions that you want to ask, when you're hushing those little feedback that you want to give, those insights about a particular experience, you're kind of denying yourself that opportunity to be true to yourself. And that
Mhm.
is so unfair to the person that you are.
That's exactly right. It's like we want other people to accept us. We want other people to be loyal to us. We want other people to hear us out. But we got to give that to ourselves. And I think if more people gave that to themselves, they would start to see that the people in their lives really aren't the best fit for them, or they can
Mm.
stop trying to get their needs met through other people rather than giving it to themselves. I think we would not suffer so much if we learned how to talk to ourselves in a kinder way, and we created a safe space for ourselves to feel what we felt without trying to constantly outsource that to other people.
Absolutely. And what I love about the work, and I've been following your work for more than 10 years, I say
That's
that with complete pride.
wow.
Uh, December 2012, right? Acts of Freedom. Do you even
Yeah.
remember that project of yours?
I remember I still have the Excel spreadsheet where I wrote out every single
Yeah.
365 days worth of acts of freedom. I still have it. Yeah.
More than that, I used to get them. I followed them for more than 2 years plus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
More
Yeah.
than. And later, when I was in a place where I needed to kind of support myself through a rough time, I started doing daily live videos, and I pushed that project on for 1,551 days, every
Wow.
single day. Thank you.
Wow. That's
Yes.
huge.
Thank you. So, Vasavi, somewhere I think unconsciously, what I received from you as acts of freedom
Yeah.
did somewhere create that a pattern, or an awareness that this
Mm.
can also be done, and I kept pushing forward day after day after day. So, thank you for
You're
acts of
welcome.
freedom.
Wow. And it's so funny. I think what I want to really do after this is maybe look up some of the acts of freedom that I wrote, because I know I still have it on a spreadsheet, and just see, do I still feel the same about the things that I've written? I love going back to some of the stuff that I
Yeah.
created and see, like, is there still resonance? Do I still say it like this, or has something changed? So thank you for
Hmm.
reminding me of that. Maybe I'll start that again. Maybe it'll be like a daily say it out loud practice.
Who knows? Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So going back to saying it out loud, what are the top three tips for getting comfortable talking to yourself?
Yeah, I want to first normalize this, right? Because in our society, when we think about someone talking out loud to themselves, we often think they're crazy, they're mentally ill,
Mhm.
something is wrong with them. But as children, we actually do talk out loud to ourselves. It's one of the ways that we strengthen our cognitive processes. So, in elementary school, when we were taught how to tie our shoelaces, there was a song that we learned: over, under, around the tree, and then I forget the rest of it, but we learn by talking ourselves through things. That's how kids actually guide themselves through little things, by mumbling out loud, and they
Mhm.
guide themselves through it. But then as we get older, our parents tell us to stop talking, stop not talking so much, and then we just silence ourselves. So I want to first say I want to normalize talking out loud to ourselves. And so for anyone who's kind of hesitant, I want to share 3 ways, simple ways that you can practice. Okay. Start in the privacy of your home, or in your car, or even in the shower if you can. So let's say you have a long day ahead of you, and instead of stewing in your brain all the things that you need to do and feeling overwhelmed or just ignoring your to-do list, ask yourself out loud, what's the most important thing for me to focus on today? Actually say that out loud. Or what would make today a super fulfilling and productive day for me? What do I need to get
Hmm.
done? What do I want to do that's fun today for me? And even a simple way, Rukia, to start checking in with yourself in the morning or after a long day or throughout the day is just, how am I feeling right now? How am I doing? How's my heart? How's my soul? How's my creative spirit feeling? This is just a great way to start acknowledging you and your internal landscape. The second thing that I want to say, one of my tips to get comfortable talking to yourself, is to play with your voice. So, do you ever notice how some tones of voice can make you a little anxious, while
Mhm.
some have the power to soothe you and make you feel comfortable? So, you can play with your voice to talk to yourself. And so I want to share 5 scenarios where you can practice talking to yourself, like when you're in the car or in the shower at home. So here are 5 scenarios, okay? How you can play with your voice and tone of voice. And I just want to give
Yep.
your audience some context, is that I'm a voiceover artist, so I get paid to play with my voice and play different characters. But one of the scenarios where you can play with your voice is problem solving, right?
Mhm.
What are my top priorities for the day? If you noticed, I used very little emotion in that voice, and it was more of a logical tone.
Yep.
And with the second scenario could be maybe increasing your focus. In a scenario where you need to increase your focus, you're like, all right, let's get down to work. It's a little bit more commanding. It's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more instructional.
Yeah.
Third scenario is reducing stress. So that may sound like, you're going to be okay. I'm here for you. You are safe. So that's a more soothing voice. You notice how I drop down with my voice. The fourth way is more motivational. This is for us to channel that coach in us. You got this. You have what it takes. You better believe I have to cheer myself on all the time, Rukia. Okay. It's not easy to get myself out of bed every day. I mean, I get out of bed and I'm very grateful to get out of bed, but it wasn't always like that. Some days we need a little bit more pushing. We need a little bit more motivation, and we can use our voice to say, come on, let's go. Let's go, get outside, walk your 10,000 steps, whatever it is for you. And the fifth scenario is just like channeling that best friend in you, and checking in with yourself. And that's another scenario, just a personal check-in. Hey, Vasavi, how are you feeling today? Hey, Rukia, how am I feeling today right now? Just checking in, and we get to play with that tone of voice. Tone is very important. It affects how we receive information. It affects our nervous system. So you can play with your voice in these scenarios. And lastly, what I want to say is find a community of people that you can practice with. When you're surrounded by people who are also committed to their self-expression and this type of work of really coming into your own sense of home and your own voice, you start to see that you're not that different. And that what you've been experiencing with yourself and other people isn't that weird. And when you know you're not alone, healing becomes a little less hard. And it becomes a little less lonely. That's why I wrote this book. That's why I created my Say It Out Loud group. That's why anyone who pre-orders my book will instantly be invited into my June book club, because I didn't want to just write a book and just leave people hanging. Community is very, very important. So those are three of my tips on, how to get started saying it out loud.
Super. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's so much of insight and so valuable, because I think sometimes people look at healing as a singular, sacred, but also very lonely journey.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on your side, it just changes the equation altogether, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, we're so afraid of other people. We're so afraid of what other people are going to think or what other people are going to say. But if you feel safe within yourself and you've got your own back, like, you're going to be okay no matter what. People and life and situations become less scary, because at the end of the day, you come home to you and you like home. You like
I
being at
love
home
that.
within yourself. Yeah. At the end of the day, Rukia, we come back to ourselves. Even whether you're married or single or divorced or living in a house of 20 people, you're still with you.
And you got to be your own home. I love that.
To be your own home.
That's my biggest takeaway from this conversation,
Yeah.
even before moving forward. But that's beautiful, isn't it? You are your own home. Thank you.
Yes.
So the power of words,
Yeah.
the power of words, when what you say out there, what you say within your mind, whether you're saying it out loud or you're not, but if it's still there stuck in your head, it's still creating impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these could be positive thoughts, these could be negative thoughts. We tend to have the same thoughts over and over again in the day. And the only way you change that is by consciously breaking that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And some situations can just be triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So, why would anyone want to talk to their triggers out loud?
Okay, so a few years ago, Rukia, I came across the term emotional perfectionism, okay? And I thought to myself, I love emotions and I'm a recovering perfectionist. Tell me more. So emotional perfectionism was coined by Dr. Annie Hickox. And the definition of emotional perfectionism, as she has said, is it means holding ourselves to an impossible standard that does not allow us to feel negative emotions or what we perceive as negative emotions toward anything. So I want everyone listening, I'm saying this to myself too, think about your own day-to-day life activities, right? Haven't you found that your day might start off great, but then you receive a text or have a conversation or a memory pops up and you can't figure out where that great feeling went? One minute you're having a good day and the next you're not. Your entire mood has been hijacked and your mind keeps you hostage by replaying the distressing scenario over and over again. When left unquestioned, this one stimulus or this trigger that you just said can snowball in a series of thoughts that follow you throughout the rest of the day. So rather than silence this part of yourself and act like everything is fine, I'm fine, everything is fine, and it's like, no, you're not, you will learn how to be in conversation with the parts of you that haven't been given the space to express themselves unedited. So let's just take a look at some of the things we tell ourselves when we've been triggered, right? And the things that we commonly say when we try to be emotionally perfect. Oh, I shouldn't be mad about that. Stop making a big deal. I should just get over it. Or I can't look sad because then people will think I'm not doing okay. Or I can't let people know that I'm upset because then I'll make them upset. In other words, you have very little tolerance for your unpleasant feelings. So here's the thing. I'm not suggesting that you sit and brood. I'm suggesting that you give yourself permission to be human and get triggered, and then use your triggers as information to get to know yourself better on a deeper level. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, and you may not like how I'm saying this, but emotionally mature, healthy individuals aren't immune to being triggered, right? If they get triggered by something, they allow themselves to get annoyed and check in with themselves, feel their frustration, and move through it internally or by saying it out loud. This then leads to an increase of confidence and a decrease in anxiety and depression, because guess what? You're no longer suppressing, you're no longer avoiding, you're no longer denying your feelings. And so how I want to end this is that, how you respond to yourself in those moments of irritation helps strengthen the relationship you have with yourself and your ability to respond to any situation.
Whew. So powerful. It's all about being authentic, isn't it? It's all about being real with yourself and not hiding away from what you're feeling. Yes, tell me.
When I'm pissed off, I'm pissed off. When
Yeah.
I am angry, I am angry. When I am irritated, I am irritated. When I am frustrated, I am frustrated. You know what doesn't help when you're angry? To get angry with yourself for getting angry. When you're frustrated and you're frustrated with yourself for getting frustrated, like why? Like in Ayurveda, it says that like increases like. Right.
Yep.
So if I'm frustrated and I'm gonna be frustrated with myself, that I'm frustrated, guess what? How's that gonna end up? I'm going to be even more angry. And so I'm saying in those moments when you're angry, irritated, annoyed, frustrated, sad, jealous, competitive, all these things that you're like, ooh, I shouldn't feel this way. What do you mean you shouldn't feel this way? You do feel this way. That is the reality. Stop denying your reality and then you won't feel so crazy. Right? Acknowledge this is how I feel in this moment. It will pass. We know that it's going to pass. But if you do not acknowledge it and you say, oh, I'm fine, I shouldn't feel that way, it doesn't actually get processed through you. And this is like emotional constipation. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be constipated. It doesn't feel good. And so
it doesn't.
Saying it out loud is it's really the laxative that we need. Saying it out loud is the verbal laxative that we need to keep it moving.
Absolutely. And to keep it moving, M within my smile stands for managing your attention.
Yes, that's it.
Where's your attention going? Are you thinking about being real with yourself, or are you kind of wearing this mask that's suffocating you and holding you back from being a true expression of who you are?
Yes.
Just for the purpose of keeping the other person comfortable. So last week, I was in Miami at the World Happiness Fest.
Wow.
And one of the biggest thank you and one of the biggest takeaways for me from that 3-day event was to focus on myself. Because Vasavi, I found myself on this rope course that was almost as tall as an electric pole, walking across this rope, balancing myself. And instead of focusing on myself, my thoughts were about, oh, what about the other person who's on my team? I'm not able to balance myself. And because I'm not able to balance myself, the other person's uncomfortable. And I keep shifting my focus instead of on myself to the other person and being more out of balance. And then when I was able to kind of hit myself in the head and say, girl, focus on you. And when I did was when I found my balance. It was about managing what I would like to be in that moment. Anxious about the other person or just focusing on myself and my experience of that moment, not denying it and saying, yes, we're in a situation, but I'm feeling a little out of balance, but there's nothing wrong in that. It's windy. We're up in the air. We're on a tightrope, for heaven's sakes. So yes, when you're going through those difficult, dirty, dark emotions, not denying yourself those emotions just because it's unpleasant to somebody else is fair, because you need to understand that they're as real as can be in that moment. You. And so, yes, say it out loud, be true to yourself, and keep moving forward one step at a time.
Yes.
I love this. So when we look at triggers,
Mhm.
we've looked at the tips. Now, what does saying your thoughts out loud do for you in the long run? Because I know anything that you do consistently builds you, right? So how does
Yeah.
it support you consistently?
Okay, so the question that I get asked all the time, which is very similar to the one that you're asking, Rukia, is does saying our thoughts and words and our feelings out loud really have the power to transform our life? Yes, I am a testament to that. My clients are a testament to that. Saying our thoughts and words out loud really does have the power to transform the relationship we have with ourselves, with others, and ultimately our lives, because our quality of life is a direct result of the quality of the conversations we're having, the conversations we're having with ourselves internally, the conversation as far as how we're speaking to ourselves, the conversation as far as how we speak about ourselves to other people, and the quality
Hmm.
of conversations we're having with others. So think about when you're up against a challenge, a decision, a difficult conversation, or a problem that needs to be solved. Our natural instinct might be to shut down, avoid, or feel overwhelmed by the situation at hand. And then all logic goes out the window. We shut down and we're just like, okay, I'm just not going to think about this, right? Nothing
Yep.
gets resolved. So we may start rehearsing in our heads all the worst case scenarios and then try to think of the perfect way to communicate so that we don't upset anyone. But all that really does is have you water down your communication rather than
Yep.
being clear and direct. So we have so many voices in our head telling us what we should say or not say, that at the end of the day, we don't even know what our real voice sounds like. So when you say out loud, okay, I need everyone to really listen to this. When you say out loud the conversation in your head about whatever you're experiencing, you're essentially purging the negative chatter, the fear, all the discomfort, and the unspoken stuff from the inside. And you're allowing these parts of you to be released and spoken out loud. And when you
Hmm.
do that and you hear yourself, like really hear what you're telling yourself, you can pause in that
Hmm.
moment and you can ask yourself out loud, is this true? Do I believe this? Is this helpful or is this harmful? Is this what I would tell a friend? Like, you can be honest with yourself. As long as you keep that shit inside of you, you will continue to lie to yourself. But here's why: you can't lie to yourself when you say it out loud. Your body will always know when you're lying to yourself because our words carry vibration. Our body feels that. That's why our body can feel when someone's not being true to us. Our mind will play tricks with us and be like, no, maybe you're overreacting. Maybe you're being paranoid. Your body will never lie to you. I can stand in front of someone and I know right away how I feel because I'm a clear channel. So I can feel other people's vibration really clearly. I'm not like, ooh, am I wrong for feeling this way? It's like, no, I'm right 10 out of 10 times because I'm very connected with myself and with my words and my vibration. So I can immediately feel other people's vibration. I can feel
Hmm.
it and I don't gaslight myself anymore, which I think a lot of women do. What I
Yep.
want to finish off by saying with this particular question is that um, we are very good at giving great advice to our friends and colleagues because we're not in their situations, or we're able to tap into a more logical and often really wise and compassionate and rational side of ourselves. And we can offer a different perspective. And as you know, this perspective is everything. You know, you get to have perspective even with your own life, but you got to hear what you're telling yourself. And to gain perspective in your own life, you got to say your thoughts and emotions out loud to yourself so that you can become a witness to your experience, just like you do with your friend. And you can offer the same sage advice to you. And that sage part of you that you're so good at giving everyone else has the power to transform your life.
I love that sage part of you. Absolutely, right? We're so good to kind of fix people, help
Oh,
people, do
yeah.
everything for we're so kind to the others,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
when it comes to us, oops, that
Oops.
sage suddenly disappears.
Yep.
And that's not fair, is it?
Nope.
Because
No.
we're judging ourselves, right? We're judging ourselves left, right, and center, and we're judging ourselves because I think somewhere we are afraid of being judged too. How do you rise above that?
I can you ask that question differently? I love that question. Can you ask it another way?
So the fear of being judged, it tends
Mm-hmm.
to hold us back, right? So how do you then say things out loud without that fear of judgment? Because obviously, if you're doing something new, people are going to judge you,
So
or
this
you're going to judge yourself for the very first thing, right?
this is the thing, okay? You can jump in the deep end
Mm-hmm.
with no floating device, or you can practice. I'm going to recommend to anybody, you don't have to go 0 to 100. I offer role playing sessions with people. I help people, practice getting into the role of whatever person they want to get into to have a difficult conversation. You don't have to like share your shit everywhere. This is not about just saying, this is not about verbal diarrhea. It is about you not holding in how you feel about things. And if you don't have a community that you can practice with, or if you don't have people that you feel safe with that you can practice with, you can always practice just prompting yourself, right? This is what I do in my book. I actually have my reader prompt themselves. I give you prompts, verbal prompts, so that you can ask yourself a question out loud and then speak back to it. Like I said, you can't lie to yourself. It's very easy to lie to other people. It's very easy to lie to other people. It's very easy to lie to ourselves. We have, I think we're born honest and then we're trained to lie. We're trained to lie because we experience a lot of shame. The reason why people lie is not because that they're terrible people, but because they're ashamed. We lie because
they want to fit in.
And they want to fit in. And so what I really just want to say is that this is not about like, okay, I'm going to jump in and I'm just going to start saying my shit everywhere. Please don't do that. Social media is not a therapy session. You know what I mean? Like find someone that you can talk to. I mean, I'm in therapy and I'm also a licensed therapist, right? I'm going to recommend that you find spaces where you feel safe to say it out loud to, and really start to express those different parts of yourself. Find a community. I also have a community. I have a say it out loud community. Our next round actually starts in August. And like I said, when you pre-order the book, you'll be a part of my book club. But yeah, I'm going to say, you don't have to do it alone. But at the end of the day, my mother always said, you come into this world alone and you leave alone. So I'm going to recommend, whether or not you have a community, you're still with you forever. And so practice this with yourself. Like practice yourself, talk to yourself, ask yourself questions and respond back out loud. Like I said, I'm normalizing something that has been stigmatized as extremely crazy. And as someone who has lived with bipolar disorder for 21 years and has extremely loud, intrusive voices in her head and has had to deal with it, and I'm on medication for it and all this stuff, I mean, this has really helped me. You don't really look at someone who's been diagnosed with a mental illness, and our society deems people who have mental illness as crazy and they're unstable and all this stuff. But some of the most creative people that I know have severe mental illness, so this has come from my own personal struggle, dealing with my own mind, and this has helped me. And I think I'm doing pretty damn okay, don't you think? So I think this works. I think this might work. I think this might work. Yeah, try it out. Listen, I always tell everybody, before you call it crazy, before you call me crazy, you can call me whatever you want. That's fine. And I'm going to answer you about the judgment piece. Try it once. Just give it a shot. Try it. So about the judgment, Rukia, that's a great question. What I want to say is, do I still care how other people perceive me? No one likes to be misunderstood. I don't want anyone ever to misunderstand me, but I'm also very clear that everyone comes with their own perspective, right? So someone may love my directness. Someone else may think she's aggressive as hell. That's up to them. But I know who I am and I like who I am and I like the different parts of me. And I feel comfortable with who I am. And so I cannot be bothered, constantly be wondering what are other people thinking, because that's just more of the same thing, right? It's still more of externally, I'm outsourcing my self-esteem to somebody else. So this is the work. The work is, what do you think of yourself? It's like, oh, well, what are other people thinking? I don't know. It's a thought in their head. I don't know what you're thinking, and I can't really be too concerned by what you think of me. I'm more concerned with what I think of myself, because at the end of the day, I'm with me. So this has taken 40 years for me. I'm 40 years old now. So where I feel now is, if someone judges me, they judge me. All I can do is, and I practice this daily, if someone points something out to me, or if they say something to me, I take a look at it and I say, oh, is there any truth to this? And if I'm honest with myself, then there is. And if there's not, there's not. And I keep it moving. But I'm not going to let what you say falter my self-esteem, because I've worked very hard to have the self-esteem that I have. So at this point, the way that I am is, I'm true to me. I listen to God. I am guided by God. I am not guided by anyone else. And that's it. And as long as I am being guided by something bigger than myself, then that's all that matters, because that is pure. And as long as I know where my heart is, then if you want to perceive me as this way or that way, then that's you. But I know what I think of me, So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. being true to yourself. It just keeps boiling down to that, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's about being true to yourself.
Mhm.
The I within the smile strategy is intention, identifying the intention, identifying why you're doing what you're doing. And I
Mhm.
love that you say this is part of your own personal journey. And because it's always that, isn't it? When you have been through something, you either don't want the other person to go through it,
Yeah.
or you want to help them understand that there is hope on the other side. That it's not all dark days. There will be light, and sometimes you are that light.
But there be like, no, I'm very familiar with my darkness. I'm very familiar with my shadow. I'm in the season of where I'm really allowing my light to come out. I actually just shared something on my Instagram that I just want to share here. But
Yes,
I just
please.
thought it was great because it's perfect. I said here, um, oh my God, where is it? Okay, here. Oh my God, I just forgot where I put it. I'm so sorry. It was
No,
really
no,
just
it's
like
perfectly fine. Please
it
take
was
your time.
okay, one sec. It was okay, let me just look real quick. Okay, wait. It was okay, here it is. On a deeper level, it is much more. So this is really about why we hesitate to say what we desire out loud.
Mm,
And I
mm,
said, first, we are afraid that once we say it, we are responsible for following through. The
mm.
second reason we hesitate to speak our desires out loud is because we have become accustomed to ignoring our own desires. But this is the part that I wanted to share. On a deeper level, it is much more about our inability to see ourselves as powerful creators of our lives. We doubt our capacity and ability to bring our desires to life. It really is our own light. Like, oh, God damn, I really am that powerful. Because at the end of the day, in Hinduism, in our scriptures, it says Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi in Sanskrit means I am that. I am God. I am
Mm,
God and God is me. And so, you know what? That is very hard for us humans, our human mind to perceive and conceive that we are the power, we are the creator and the creation. Wow. And even when I say it, I get goosebumps because it's like, no, I literally am God energy. I am God energy. But that's why we need, in Hinduism, we have idols, right? We have our Ganesha idols. We have all these idols. We use idols in Hinduism as just a focal point, right? Because human beings are so distracted. So when I pray to a Ganesha, I'm not praying to an elephant god. I'm praying to what that symbolizes, right? Ganesha is
yeah.
the remover of obstacles. So this is really just an opportunity for us to embody the ways that we want to be. And oftentimes it is hard for us to see our light because we have been told over and over again, don't be this, don't be this, don't be this. And it's usually all the things that make us, right?
Absolutely.
I was a talkative girl. I was a funny girl. I said what I said exactly. I can hit the nail on the head. I was that intuitive as a child. But these are all
Mm,
the things that got me in trouble and hit. I got hit as a kid. I got hit all the time when I was a kid because I ran my mouth. Guess what? I now get paid to run my mouth. I wrote a
mm,
book called Say It Out Loud. So do not take for granted all the things that people say, this is not good. This is not all the things that people have said aren't great about you. Oh my God, that's where the money is. That's where the opportunities is. That's where the better relationships are. It's like, if you're not happy with your life, it's like, what parts of you have you denied? Because those are the parts
mm,
of you that probably are the most fun. And you've just put them aside. And now you're living this life that feels lackluster and lifeless because it is lifeless because you've killed off certain parts of you. You're half dead.
mm.
So where are the parts of you that need to come back to life? What parts of you have you killed off? You want to feel alive again? It's not about spending all this money and going on all these vacations. Bring back to life the parts of yourself and you will feel alive again. I don't
Mm.
like, I had one cup of coffee today. I am powered by an energy that is just natural for me. And it's because I allow myself, even on these interviews now, Rukia, like I just bring my full energy. This energy of mine is the same thing that got me in trouble growing up. Oh, Vachi, don't talk too much. My parents call me Vachi. In my
Huh.
book, I even say, my mother would always say, in our language, we speak Tamil, which is a South Indian language. She'd say, Vachi chumaire. Chumaire means shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. Chumaire. That's what we were told. That's what I was told. My sister didn't talk a lot. I
Mm.
talked a lot. But now look, now people want me to talk.
I was
People,
called BBC London.
BBC, that's so funny. I
Yeah,
could see
because I
that.
didn't because I didn't know where to keep my mouth shut, and I didn't know which information to hold in and which information to go
Yeah.
tell everyone. So I was BBC London growing up. but then every time I did have something to share that was important, I was also rubbished. I was also told, no, it's all in your head. So then I started holding back, keeping that information to myself, and then it began to impact who I was, and I began to create this cocoon around myself where I would protect myself and say, no, this is information that is mine. It's my truth, and I will hold on to it because nobody else is going to believe it. So that's how I began to have that limiting belief of no one listens to me. And like you said, now I get paid to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get paid to ask questions. I am a coach. I ask
Mm-hmm.
questions. That's my profession,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the L in the smile is let things go.
Mm.
It's about letting things go, the forgiveness that needs to come in for all those people who might have wronged you, who might have judged you, and you feel like this need to hold back because of them. Forgive them and allow yourself the space to express. Letting it go, letting go of the labels, letting go of the fact that someone asked you to keep quiet and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is so, so important. And the last one in the smile is energize the possibilities.
I love this.
Thank
I,
you.
I love a good acronym.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
and and really, it when I did this for my TEDx talk in 2016, but I didn't create it. It wasn't something that I researched years and years to come up with. It was
Mm-hmm.
something that was given to me when I sat in silence and I said, "Hey, listen, you gave me the opportunity to be on that stage. Now give me a message that will stick and stay and be my purpose for life." So I'm on a mission to share the smile across the world. And as I can see, your mission is to let people say it out loud. I conclude this interview now with one last question. What do you most hope readers will take away from your book? What is your energize the possibilities?
I love this question. What I most hope readers will take away from Say It Out Loud, my book, is that the sound of your voice has the power to heal the parts of you that have been suffering in silence.
Ooh.
Let me say that again. The sound of your voice has the power to heal the parts of you that have been suffering in silence. Acknowledge your pain, your experience, your emotions, your memories, your feelings, all the things. Maybe you've been holding on to a secret that has been eating at you for years. You've harbored immense shame. You've harbored immense shame and have been beating yourself up over it. Or maybe you've never allowed yourself to process the pain of a specific event in your life. You've tucked it neatly away. And now that part of you is nudging at you to be heard and expressed. Say it out loud. I've had clients share that they were able to walk themselves through painful memories that were repressed. By speaking to those parts of themselves, the suppressed voices inside began to open up and share the depth of their pain out loud. You are witnessing you in your entirety of human expression. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all seek from others? And so I just want to end this with, your voice, when used with intention, kindness, and for the purposes of creating curiosity and safety within, can fundamentally alter the trajectory of your life. Life is way too short to silence the best parts of you. It's time to say it out loud.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. And one last one before you go away. What does a smile mean to you, Vasavi?
Well, I'm reminded of this photo right here. That's me when I was smiling. And I love this photo of me. It's not a care in the world. When I'm smiling, it's I am here and I am in the moment and I am receiving everything that life has to offer. And I'm just here. And I think what I want everyone to know is that when you are here right now, there's a lot that we can smile for. We can really smile about, no matter what is going on around us, we can always find something to smile about, and I don't mean smile like fake happy. I don't mean like put on a happy smile. That's not what I'm saying. But I think of smile as just like something that I can just be lit up about. There's something. Can you find one thing that you can be lit up about? Because when I'm lit up, I smile. I'm lit up. I'm lit up by this conversation. I smile. When I look in the mirror, I'm lit up by how I look. I smile. I'm happy when I look in the mirror. I'm happy with who I am. And I want people to have that experience of looking in the mirror and liking your reflection and giving yourself a smile, maybe even a wink, because you deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can head to sayitoutloudbook.com
Yes.
I knew you were going to ask that. Go ahead. You can go to Say It Out Loud book to pre-order my book, and I really want everyone to come join my book club. That is my most favorite bonus is this book club. So when you go to sayitoutloudbook.com, you can pre-order. It's available everywhere, and then join the book club in June.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Find us there. We will definitely be there. I will definitely be there.
Yay.
And thank you for the book you've written. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for your resilience.
Thank you.
Thank you for your smile. And thank you, Vasavi, for being you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And do catch the book. And remember to say it out loud. Over and out for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. How was that? Oh, shit. You just over.